It's that time of year again, folks. It is the Oscars. The 98th Academy Awards starts on Sunday, March 15th. Right now, it is March 12th. I just finished watching Sentimental Value, which means that I have seen all 10 films nominated for Best Picture. I missed the deadline last year, and I didn't watch a few films like Nickel Boys. So, I'm going to do what I did a few years ago, talk about the 10 films nominated for Best Picture, and talk about the other awards sprinkled throughout them. And like I did last time, I'm going to do it from least favorite to favorite. And I'm sure, based on the noms, you know what my favorite is if you've seen me talk about this film before. So, let's start off with Hamnet, directed by Chloe Zhao, which is up for 8 Oscar nominations. They are Best Picture, Director, Actress for Jessica Buckley, Adapted Screenplay, Casting, the new category this year, casting by Nina Gold, Costume Design by Maglosia Terzanska, production design by Fiona Crombie and Alice Felton, and score from Max Richter. I didn't like this movie. I didn't. I'll say some positives. I think it looks great. I actually think the directing is good because there's a lot of nice frames throughout the film that tells, you know, great stories within the shots. It looks great. Cinematography's really damn good. Great camera movements. The acting is all great all around. It's really good, and I like the score quite a bit. Um, it's present, and it definitely does a lot of the heavy lifting of the emotional work of the film, but it didn't strike me as extremely powerful like other scores throughout the year, and it's not my pick for any of these Oscar nominations, to be honest. My issues are it's really slow. I was never really emotionally invested. I was never hooked. I just didn't care, even though there are some good performances that would make one care. I just couldn't get into this film. I think it's really boring. The pacing is extremely slow. And about halfway through, I thought, okay, maybe when this thing happens, it will start to get more interesting. But it takes way too long for the film to get going somewhere. It just feels like a lot of nothing happening, especially for the first half of the film. Also, if you don't know what Hamnet's about, I'm going to read the Letterboxd plot synopsis, or the description, basically. The powerful story of love and loss that inspired the creation of Shakespeare's timeless masterpiece, Hamlet. So, my issue with this mainly is I've heard it as a criticism, and I feel the same way about it too. They don't say that. I mean, you know the title, Hamnet. What does it sound like? Hamlet. Um, and they never say William Shakespeare. They don't refer to him as William Shakespeare until like the third act of the film, where they go, "We're looking for William Shakespeare. Do you know where he is?" And it's like, "What? That's William Shakespeare?" Like, if you go into this completely blind, not knowing anything about, you know, Hamnet, whatever, or William Shakespeare's family, which I didn't know his son was named Hamnet, because I just don't know much about that time period. And like, there's a specific moment where he says the line "to be or not to be," as he's looking out into the ocean, William Shakespeare. But they never refer to him as William up until that point. And at one point, I put closed captioning on. It said "the husband," so I'm thinking, oh, okay. So if you didn't know, like if you just went into this completely blind, you're not supposed to know who he is until that reveal. What? Or like when they say, "Oh, the play is called Hamnet," or the play is called Hamlet, based on, you know, his son. Yeah, that's just a weird criticism I had with it. It was treated as like this twist. Like, if you don't know anything about the story going in, I don't know why they would. But like, you know what Hamlet is. Everyone knows what Hamlet is. And I don't know why they would treat it as a twist. It doesn't enhance the story or anything. It doesn't do anything exciting. It doesn't add anything to the film, it being a twist. Yeah, I think I've said all I could on Hamnet. It looks good performances. It's a well-made film, but it's super boring, and I just really didn't get what it was trying to say, or if I felt like it took way too long to get to what it wanted to say. Stuff about how, you know, the emotion we put into our work, how we put grieving and loss into our work, something like that. But I think it took way too long, and it felt like so self-masturbatory at the end. Like, I get it, it's a dramatization of the creation of this story, but it just felt so, it felt like it wanted to be more important than it actually is. So this is my least favorite of the 10 films in this category. I'm giving Hamnet a D plus. I just don't dig it. Maybe I'll like it more on a second watch, but I don't see myself rushing to this film anytime soon. Then we got The Secret Agent, directed by Kleber Mendonça Filho. This is a Brazilian film, and it is up for 4 nominations, that being Best Picture, Actor, Wagner Moura, Casting from Gabriel Dominguez, and International Feature Film. So, The Secret Agent, let me tell you the plot synopsis, because I didn't know much about it going into the film. In 1977 Brazil, technology specialist Marcelo, fleeing a mysterious past, returns to Recife in search of peace, but realizes the city is far from the refuge he seeks. I think I'm Still Here is the better Brazilian film that I've seen from last year. I really wish I liked this film more. I heard so much hype and buzz about it, and I was kind of disappointed because, one, I didn't know what it was going to be about. And then two, it didn't feel like anything happened in the movie or anything important happened in the movie. It takes place during Brazil during the military dictatorship, but you wouldn't know that going into this film like blind. They don't really say anything about it. They say certain things. They have certain characters do certain things. Like there's a bunch of refugees trying to escape, or there's police being dickheads, and then there's corrupt police officers. But it's never really mentioned like the specific, like, yeah, it says we're in 1977 Brazil, but there we don't get like a setting. We don't get introduced to like the greater conflict outside of what our characters are going through. So that was kind of a letdown for me because it didn't really seem like there were high stakes outside of other elements in the film, like a hit being put out on Wagner Moura's character. The film looks really good. I like the style of the film. It's very colorful, but it's also very dreary and drab at the same time. Like certain colors pop out. It's well lit. I like some camera movements. I like some of the editing too. It's not a bad film to look at. I think it's an extremely well-made film as well. I like a lot of the sound mixing and editing in the film as well. There's just certain moments that popped out to me. And Wagner Moura is definitely good, but I think there's only a few moments where he's like really damn good. Because he doesn't have a lot to do in the film. No one has a lot to do in the film anyways. But I definitely wish I liked the film more. I just wish the film did more though, because it feels like it took way too long to get to the more interesting parts in the film. I watched the first 40 minutes and I thought, I'm only 40 minutes in. It feels like nothing happened. And just for reference, I watched the first 40 minutes of One Battle After Another, like right before this. And so much goes on in it. So much is set up. And it feels like the first 40 minutes of this film doesn't really do a whole lot. There's a few elements here and there, but nothing feels like it comes back into play in terms of, importance in the film. I don't mean to dog on this film because I know a lot of people are praising it for certain elements. I just couldn't get behind it. It feels like it took way too long to get to interesting parts. And there are definitely some great sequences. There's a great interview sequence. There's a great, I won't say gunfight at the end, but a chase sequence, I'd say. It's very intense, and the music that plays during that moment like amplifies the scene so much more. And there are some definitely great dialogue moments here and there, but I couldn't get behind this film because it feels way too long. I don't really get what it was trying to say, and I felt like those moments could have been amplified if we were either set up better in this film, or if there was more the film had to say or do, and possibly a shorter length, because this is what, 2 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah. And one battle after another is 2 hours and 40 minutes, and every time I watch that, it zooms by. I felt like I was falling asleep during this film. I was at home, thankfully, so I was able to rewind if I felt like I missed something. But I don't know. I felt kind of let down with this film. I wasn't. I didn't know what I was. I didn't know what to expect. But it was kind of disappointing. I'm sure I'd like it better on a rewatch. I'm gonna say that quite a bit, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like I was getting what the film wanted to say, or I felt like it took way too long for it to get into that. I'm giving The Secret Agent a C plus. I liked the Brazilian film last year much better. I'm still here. Okay, next we move on to films that I have more of a positive saying on. We're gonna do Train Dreams, directed by Clint Bentley. I believe this is my first Clint Bentley film. I've heard he's had some good works in the past. This film is up for 4 nominations, that being Best Picture, Adapted Screenplay, Cinematography from Adolfo Veloso, and Original Song Train Dreams. I very much liked this film. It was simple, it was charming, and I was invested, although I do have a few gripes here and there, one of them being it felt like it didn't have a whole lot to say till near the end, but I did like the journey getting there because it's quiet, it's simple, but there's definitely a lot to chew on in this film. I think it's a really damn well made film. The cinematography is incredible. One of the first shots of the film involving a tree falling down, like instantly hooked me. I thought it was great. And a lot of the music choices involving the score, which does a lot of the heavy lifting, I thought worked really well. It was like Hamnet, but in a better movie. There's definitely some great performances in this film. The main lead is Joel Edgerton. I haven't seen a film of his, or oh, actually, he was in The Green Knight. I forgot, and he's Owen in the Star Wars movies. I forgot. That's right. But in this film, he's actually pretty damn good. You feel very sympathetic for this character with what he has to go through. Let me read the plot synopsis real quick, or the plot description. A logger leads a life of quiet grace as he experiences love and loss during an era of monumental change in early 20th century America. So, what I dug about this film was definitely the production. It looks great, sounds great. There's great performances in this film, specifically with our lead. And I dug the score. Also, William H. Macy is in the film for a bit. I thought he was really damn good. Um, I would not have minded a best supporting actor nom for him. I thought he was really damn good. But some of my gripes with the film is that it sets up certain elements that I wish were touched upon more, or that I wish felt like it had more weight to the film, because there's certain elements that get brought up, such as grief, such as regret, involving an event that happens early on in the film, and it sort of haunts our character throughout the film. But I'm not sure what it either had to say, or if it had much weight on the character, because it just sort of it's sprinkled throughout the film, and we don't really touch on it afterwards. But I do like the film, and it's a cool 1 hour and 40 minutes, so it zooms by pretty quickly. I enjoyed the film, and like I said earlier with other films, I'm sure I'd enjoy it way more on a second watch. But I really dug it. It's just a really nice vibey film, and it has some interesting elements to say. I just didn't. I wasn't attached to it as much as I really wish I was. I'm giving Train Dreams a B minus. I liked it, and I'm sure a lot of people will dig it, especially if you're kind of nostalgic for that time period. I always kind of wish I grew up in that specific time period, except for disease and stuff. And there's definitely some interesting elements with seeing time progress that the film touches on. And, I think it does that stuff really well. I just wish I was a little more attached to the film, but it's a cool hour 40. It's on Netflix. Please give it a watch because it is pretty interesting. And it came out of nowhere, too. One day I just saw people start talking about train dreams, and I was intrigued, but I never got around to it until recently. Next, we have Frankenstein, directed by Guillermo del Toro. This film was up for 9 noms, that being Best Picture, Supporting Actor, Jacob Elordi, Adapted Screenplay, Cinematography, Dan Lawson, Production Design, Tamara Deverell, with set decoration by Shane Vo, Costume Design, Kate Hawley, Makeup and Hairstyling, Mike Hill, Jordan Samuel, and Cleona Fury, Score from Alexander Desplat, and Sound, Greg Chapman, Nathan Rabatial, Nelson Ferreira, Christine Cook, and Brad Zorn. So, Frankenstein. You know what Frankenstein is. Everyone read it in high school from Mary Shelley. Good book. I don't remember a whole lot of it, but I remember digging it when I was in high school. And yeah, so you know what the plot is. Victor creates a creature. Creature isn't exactly what he thought it was. And then Creature's pissed off at Victor. You know what Frankenstein is, so there's really no point in describing the plot. So, I liked Frankenstein. I'm not in love with it. I have some critiques with it. But overall, it's definitely an incredibly well-made film. I think it looks fantastic. The cinematography is incredible. It has that colorful yet drab and dreary look that gives off this really damn cool gothic vibe to this old era in time. The makeup and special effects work is really damn good. You got a lot of cool practical effects going on. And the creature design is incredible. And then you get a lot of like cool dead body stuff going on. It's just really cool to see this horror stuff in this environment as well. It's not just, blood splurting everywhere and, it's mangled body parts everywhere. No, it's just really cool to see all of this stuff come together in this sort of intense but subtle way. I'm gonna gush about Alexander Desplat for a bit. I love the score for this film, especially the piece called Floating Leaf. And it's more so like a leitmotif that involves the creature as he is learning, as he is introduced, and it also plays in the credits. The first time I watched this film, I fell asleep for most of it. I watched like the first 20 minutes and I fell asleep because I was with my girlfriend. It was Valentine's Day. I didn't think the film would be as long as it was. But I fell asleep. I woke up to different parts and I thought, oh my God, this score sounds beautiful. It could win best score. My girlfriend got upset at me because she said, why would you say that? You haven't even watched the whole film. But I'm just saying what I thought or what I heard. It just sounds beautiful. I love Alexander Desplat as a composer. I think he's incredible. And I need to listen to more of his stuff. I need to watch more films that he's involved in because the score, I think, is my favorite element of the film. The performances are all great. I thought this film would have at least got the best casting nom too, because there's a lot of great stars in here that pull off some great performances, even if they're in the film for long or not. Let's see. Mia Goth is in it, and I thought she was pretty damn good. Christoph Waltz, he was a surprise to see. I'm watching, holy shit, that's Christoph Waltz. What's he doing here? Inglourious Bastards, what the hell? I thought he worked really damn well in the film. And Oscar Isaac, I was talking to a buddy of mine about this film. He said he didn't dig Isaac as much because he felt kind of static and didn't have much character to him. And I may be misquoting him, but it was along the lines of that. But I thought Isaac worked well in the film. Because Oscar Isaac's just a great actor, but he's great along with Jacob Elordi, who has to do a lot of movements and a lot of mannerisms specific to this creature. I'll say it's sort of in line with what Sprouse did for, is it Dylan or Cole? I can't remember, for Lisa Frankenstein, having to do mannerisms of the zombie character, but this is taken to a whole nother level because he's an attached creature of a bunch of different body parts, so he moves in a very specific way. And just seeing like close-ups on his face and stuff, you can really tell that is Jacob Elordi, like in all this makeup and stuff. You can really like see like a hurt and confused and in pain creature. So yeah, I'm gushing over the production and everything. It's an incredibly well made film. I wish I saw it in theaters, but like I said, I have some critiques with it. It feels really long, and there's a lot of too many on the nose moments. Victor, you are the monster. Come on, I thought we were past stuff like that. Um, yeah, the film feels a tad too long, but I'm not sure how to tackle this differently because if they wanted to tell the story in the order they told it and the editing process of it and how we're seeing the story, I don't know what you could have done differently. Maybe just shorten things here and there because it's a pretty long film. How long is it? It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2.5 hours. Yeah, and I felt like it didn't need to be 2.5 hours, especially with how it ended and what it wanted to say. And that's also another critique of mine. I don't think the film really said much outside of like the regular Frankenstein stuff. Man creates creature thinking he can create life, is disappointed with it, creature gets pissed off and doesn't know its purpose. It just doesn't feel like it did a whole lot with that. Outside of just the basic elements of Frankenstein, you know? It just felt like there could have been a whole lot more done with it. So I'm not that I was disappointed with that because I'm not like the biggest Frankenstein fan. I remember liking the book in high school. I'd like to read it again just to be more familiar with the story. But something about this film being that long and feeling like there's just so much dead space here and there feels like it could have been shortened up a bit, or it feels like I could have said something more important or what it had to say differently. It just felt like I just didn't get what it was going for. But like I said, I dug the film. I'd love to watch it again because it's eye candy. And I love the look of the film and the feel of the film. I just couldn't get behind the emotional connection that other people have with this. But I dug it. I'll definitely watch it again at some point. I'm giving Frankenstein a B. Then we move on to Bugonia, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, which is up for four noms, that being Best Picture, Actress Emma Stone, Adapted Screenplay, and Original Score from Jerskin Fendrix. So, the only other Yorgos Lanthimos film I've seen was Poor Things, and I loved it, but I definitely need to rewatch it again. I missed out on Kinds of Kindness, and he has other films I really want to see, like The Lobster and The Favorite. I absolutely adored this film for so many aspects. I think this film could have definitely gotten a cinematography nom. It should have got a best supporting actor nom for either Jesse Plemons or Aidan Delbus. He, I don't want to say what it is because just watch the film and you'll see his performance. What he has to do is so incredible, and it's not like he's doing feats of incredible feats or anything. It's a very demanding role, especially for what the real life person has. But it felt like it was meant for him. I from what I've heard, I think it was meant for someone like him. I don't want to say what it is though. But yeah, I really dug this film. I like what it had to say, but I felt like it wanted to have its cake and eat it too. I'll say what the plot is real quick. Two conspiracy obsessed young men kidnapped the high powered CEO of a major company, convinced that she is an alien intent on destroying planet Earth. So, throughout the film, you're guessing, or not guessing, but you're given clues and hints, and you're supposed to say, oh, she's an alien, or oh, she's not an alien. So you go back and forth, and I felt like with the way the film ended, it was you have your cake and you ate it too. Um, it's it's a really weird feeling because it's this sort of chronically online, internet obsessed conspiracy theorist mumbo jumbo guy who, he's clearly not well, and they kidnap someone and they do all these weird things to her thinking that she's an alien. And so you're supposed to, and especially, with the backstory of these characters, you're supposed to sympathize with them, and you do. And it does a lot of interesting things, though, but it also does a lot of kind of weird things that I don't want to say what it is, because I'd love to talk spoiler details about this, because it is a pretty nuts film that I really dug. I want to gush about the score for a second from Jerskin Fendrix, who did the score for Poor Things. It's a really damn beautiful score. It's a fun mixture of classical music with a sort of modern, dreadful sense to it. It does, not that it does so much heavy lifting, but paired with the style of Yorgos, it perfectly matches this extremely disturbing yet beautiful style that this film was going for. I really, really, really dug this film. I really like what the film has to say, with its themes more so involving bees. It uses that as an allegory and a way of expressing its themes, and they spell it out for you right in the beginning. But I think it matched with everything, the look of the film and the score. It does it in a very tasteful way, and like I said about other films, I really want to watch this again because I think it's so interesting and so weird. And I loved that about this film. It's so just bizarre and out there, and it's disturbing but beautiful at the same time. I could go on and on about so much more about this film, but I just think it's absolutely incredible. And I really would have loved to see a cinematography nom for this film. I'm giving Bugonia an A minus. I could go more on about this, but it has been a while since I've seen this film. Next up is F1, directed by Joseph Kosinski, who directed Top Gun Maverick and saved movie theaters forever. Hail Joseph Kosinski. This film was up for 4 noms, that being Best Picture, Editing, Stephen Marion, Visual Effects, and Sound. So what is F1 doing here? This was the sort of odd duckling out when the noms came up. And I was thinking, if F1's here, why not Mission Impossible? Because I love Mission Impossible way more than F1. I like this film a lot. I never got a chance to talk about F1 as its own movie review. Racing legend Sonny Hayes is coaxed out of retirement to lead a struggling Formula One team and mentor a young hotshot driver while chasing one more chance at glory. Yeah, I'll just read what I said on Letterboxd real quick. A killer score, exhilarating racing sequences, and a pace that rarely gives up. This was the perfect summer movie I needed. I'm glad to have seen it on IMAX when I was able to do so. Either an A minus or A. And yeah, A minus. It was exhilarating. It was fun, exciting. It was tense, and Brad Pitt, he stole the show. He was incredible in this film. It looks incredible. The racing sequences are super fun, and I'm surprised there wasn't an nom for cinematography for this film, just because of what they had to do to get all of these shots. And yeah, it's basically just filming an F1 race, but with all these camera movements, it's just so astounding how they were able to film all this stuff. It's insane. People have said, yeah, it's a regular sports movie, yada yada. Underdog, wins it all, whatever. It's still exhilarating to watch. It's still really fun to watch. There's a love story in the film. I thought it was, serviceable. Didn't need to be there, but whatever. That's probably just like doesn't need to be there, whatever. I like the other main character in the film, Joshua, played by Damson Idris. I really dug him. He was cool. As the mentee, and seeing his character growth was really cool, and seeing the way these two characters interact and work because they both have egos to each other. It was just fun to see that dynamic in this film. I really dug this film. I don't have a whole lot to say on it because it has been a while, but I watched the beginning, like the first 30 minutes or so a while back. I was watching with someone, and they turned it off afterwards, and I was kind of upset because I really wanted to watch it again. But seeing that again just reminded me of just how kick-ass the film was, and just the scope of this film was astounding to see. I love the editing and everything involving the sound. Just to watch it again and just be reminded of how fun this film was. It was the perfect summer movie. So yeah, I'd love to watch it again and like do its own review for it. But as of now, I dug it. Really fun. Great score. Will it win any of these? I don't know. Maybe editing, but we'll see. So yeah, F1 A minus. Then we move on to, I might get some shit for this, Sinners, directed by Ryan Coogler. This one was up for a record 16 nominations, that being Best Picture, Director, Actor Michael B. Jordan for playing both Smoke and Stack, Supporting Actor for Delroy Lindo, Supporting Actress for Wunmi Mosaku, Original Screenplay, Casting from Francine Maisler, Cinematography from Adam Durald Arkapaw, Editing Michael P. Scheuer, Costume Design Ruth E. Carter, Makeup and Hairstyling Ken Diaz, Mike Fontaine, and Shunika Terry, Score from Ludwig Göransson, Song, Best Original Song, I Lied to You, Production Design Hannah Beechler and Monique Champagne, Sound and Visual Effects. So I've talked about Sinners before on this channel, so I'll do my best to keep this brief. I liked the film on my first watch. I loved it more on my second. I watched some more of it a while back, and it just reminded me of how much, how awesome this film is. I love it. And like I've said, I've had a few critiques about it, more so involving the ending, some of the pacing, the way the middle section just feels like it's kind of not important, but there are some cool elements in there. Well, like I said, you could see my review on this channel from last year where I go more into details about it, but I'm going to keep this brief. It was a great spring-ish movie. It was what everyone needed, an original horror idea. Great score. It looks absolutely stunning. I saw this in 70mm IMAX, one of my favorite theater experiences, despite where I sat for both that and the IMAX screening. Great casting all around. It would be cool if Delroy Lindo won because he played my favorite character in the film, or one of my favorite characters in the film, but he was stunning. But I have a lock for that. Yeah, just all around a really fun movie. Something that we all needed as film fans to show the studios that we would want to go see original films like this. If you give it money and if you advertise the hell out of it, it made a lot of money, $300 something million worldwide. Actually, let me look it up real quick because it was very, very impressive to see. And it's really cool that Ryan Coogler can get the rights of this film after X amount of years. So the box office for Sinners gives us a total worldwide of $369 million for an original horror film, mind you, in the year 2025. That's awesome. And, big names attached to this. So that's another reason why it happened. But you know what? I'm excited that I'm just so happy that this film did what it did. And it got so much buzz. And, I love it. I got it on 4K as a Christmas gift for Secret Santa. I'm happy I have it. I just need a device to watch 4K movies on now. But I've talked about it before in much more detail. Go watch it. Yeah, Sinners gets an A- from me. Yeah, I always think like, man, was it as good or am I overhyping it? And then I watch some stuff from it and I go, yeah, no, that was damn good. Next up is Sentimental Value, directed by Joaquin Trier, which is up for 9 noms, that being Best Picture, Director, Actress Renate Reinsve, Supporting Actor Stellan Skarsgård, 2 Supporting Actress noms, that being Elle Fanning and Inga Ipsdotter Lilias, Original Screenplay, International Feature, and Editing from Oliver Bouge-Cout. This is the most recent film that I watched, so I'll have a little more to say on this than others. I really, really dug this film. I think it's sweet, bittersweet, it's sad and tragic, but sort of uplifting, but in a tragic sense too. It's a lot about regret and reconciliation in a very bittersweet and earnest and honest feeling. Um, yeah. Here's the plot description. Sisters Nora and Agnes reunite with their estranged father, the charismatic Gustav, a once renowned director who offers stage actress Nora a role in what he hopes will be his comeback film. When Nora turns it down, she soon discovers he has given her part to an eager young Hollywood star. Um, there's a lot to unpack in this film. There's a lot of heavy moments. I think it's directed beautifully. I think it's just an incredibly well made film all around. Great sound, editing, and mixing. Extremely great camera movements. I thought there would have been a cinematography nom for this, but it doesn't do a whole lot of outlandish things like the other films this year did. It was just a really damn good looking film with some really interesting camera movements, with details in it that you look at it and go, oh shit, like now I'm realizing where we are in this film. I thought this would have gotten an editing nom. Is there no editing nom for this? Yeah, there is. Yeah, I love the editing in this film. There's a lot of great moments in it that just hit you like a train, and there's a lot of cut to blacks that really hit you. Um, yeah, there's just it's great. It's a great film. It's an absolutely great film. I loved every second of it. And the cast, the performances are all great. Um, and it's funny because every other scene, every character is basically teary eyed. Yeah. Um, they're just it's a long film. It's a long film, but I don't know how you could shorten this down and tell the same story because there's a lot of elements that come back to play that make certain parts in the end go, oh shit, whoa, okay. But yeah, I absolutely adored this film. I'd love to watch it again. I need to watch it again. I had a whole lot of fun with it. I need to see more of this director's work because I think the last film he did was The Worst Person in the World, if that's what it's called. A film I've heard a lot of great things about. But oh no, I loved this. It's sweet, it's sad, but it's honest with the story it's telling. It's tragic, but uplifting, sort of. Um, because of the way the film ends. It's just it's a lot of heavy moments in this film. I loved it though. I'm giving this film an A minus. I could watch this over and over again. Next is Marty Supreme, directed by Josh Safdie, which is up for 9 noms, that being Best Picture, Director, Actor for Timothée Chalamet, Original Screenplay, Casting by Jennifer Venditti, Cinematography by Darius Konji, Production Design by Jack Fisk with set decorating by Adam Willis, Editing Josh Safdie and Ronald Bronstein, Costume Design Miyako Belize, and Costume Design. Those are the 9 noms. And Marty Supreme tells a story of Marty Mauser, a young man with a dream no one respects, who goes to hell and back in pursuit of greatness for being a table tennis player, the best table tennis player in the world. I loved and adored this film. I was blown away. It's one of those rare films that, and I've talked about this before on a few instances here and there. It's one of those rare films that makes me almost feel like I'm gonna pass out. I was breathing heavily at there's certain sequences, or especially no, there's the sequence at the end where I was breathing heavily. I felt my heart racing. I was getting hot. I was feeling numb. I feel like I was gonna pass out, just because of how tense this film got. It's absolutely incredible. I would like for this film to win. Is this up for casting? Yes, I would like for this film to win casting because there's a lot of interesting faces here that really just add to the film. Like Kevin O'Leary is in the film and he plays an asshole. Yeah, it's just an interesting face to see in this film. And if you remember the homeless man with the golden voice who got to be in the Kraft mac and cheese commercials, he's in the film. I was surprised to see him in the film. I didn't expect to see him, and I like the character that he played, even though he's not in the film for a whole lot. I absolutely adored this film because it's always moving. It keeps you on your toes. Timothée Chalamet, he does a fantastic job. He's my He's who I think is going to win Best Actor, but I kind of want Leo to win, just because I thought Leo in One Battle After Another was incredible. But I think Timothée Chalamet is going to win. He's like due his Oscar basically. Even though I think he could have been nominated for Dune Part Two rather than A Complete Unknown, because I thought he was incredible in Dune Part Two. Anyways, back to Marty Supreme. The film it always keeps you on your toes. It's a lot about, like pursuing greatness and stuff, but at what cost? How destructive are you going to be in not just your own life but other people's lives? Who are you going to screw over? What schemes are you going to pull? It's an incredibly well paced film because although it's extremely long, how long is it? A 2.5 hour film. It zooms by like nothing because it's always moving. It's super fast, and no matter what's at play, there's so many things at play here. There's so many different plot lines going on, but it feels like it never loses sight of any of them. And whenever they come back, it's very fun and exciting to see back, and it plays its part into moving the plot forward because everything is important in this film. I loved it. I think it's incredible, super fun, exciting. It's very risky with what it does, especially with how it ends because it's up for interpretation with what you think, based on this character and his facial expression. Is he happy or is he sad about what to look forward to in the future? Yeah, people say it's your average, like sort of sports movie, basically. Oh, the guy does it and he gets to the end and what happens happens. But I love the journey to get there, and then the destination was just as intense as the entire journey. It was fucking awesome. I loved it. Yeah, so much I could gush on about this film, but I'd love to give it another watch again. I'm giving Marty Supreme an A plus. I had zero issue with it. It's always moving. Great cast, great performances. Um, it had one of the biggest holy shit moments in recent memory where I audibly said "holy shit" in the theater too. But so did other people because it was such an insane moment. Um, yeah, I love this film. It was incredible. I think Tim Cham's due his Oscar, but I want Leo to win it. But most likely it'll go to Michael B. Jordan based on all the odds and shit right now. But whatever. Yeah, I see this film walking away with at least one Oscar. The production design, though, I thought was actually really damn good. We're definitely in this older time period. I don't know what it is, the 40s, 50s, Marty Supreme? Yeah, in the 50s, yeah. So we're definitely set in that old time period, with all the costumes, the cars, the buildings. Is this up for costume design? It's not. It is, yeah. Um, it could win either of those, costume or production, just because the film looks great. Yeah, I definitely love the look of this film. Cinematographer Darius Konji, who previously worked on Mickey 17 and Eddington from this year, two absolutely stunning looking films. So yeah, this guy knows his shit. Okay, I think I've talked enough about Marty Supreme. Now we got I think my favorite film of last year. It's up there with Eddington and Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I gave Eddington an A and Mission Impossible an A plus. But if you know me, I've gushed about this film since I saw it. I saw it in an incredible way at the Vista Vision on Vista, at the Vista Theater on Vista Vision. One battle after another. Wow, what a fucking movie. I've talked about it before, so I'll keep it brief. This film was up for 13 noms. It's directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. It's up for 13 noms, being Best Picture, Director, Actor for Leonardo DiCaprio, two supporting actor noms with Benicio del Toro and Sean Penn, supporting actress Teyana Taylor, adapted screenplay casting from Cassandra Kulukundis, who's worked with PTA before, cinematography Michael Bauman, editing Andy Jurgensen, score Johnny Greenwood, production design Anthony Carlino and Florencia Martin, and sound. Um, yeah, one bat after another sweep. Everything. Director, I wanted to tie for for supporting actor, I would love for Leo to get best actor for this because he's incredible. He does so much in this film, and the film where and the sequence when he's speaking Spanish, trying to figure out where his daughter's at while driving, it's funny as shit. I hope they play that when they do like the best actors, blah 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 blah. Leo. I hope they play that scene. Cinematography, a lot of great looking films this year, but this film does so much, especially with it being on VistaVision. Wow, just incredible. But the one this film needs to win is best score from Johnny Greenwood. And there's a lot of great scores out there this year, and especially the ones nominated. Although I could do without Hamnet. Johnny Greenwood's score for this film is so interesting. It's basically its own character. It amplifies the tone of every scene. It's a tone setter. It has a lot of beautiful moments, has a lot of tense moments, a lot of dreadful, dreary moments, suspenseful moments. It does so many interesting and complicated things. Just give it a listen to. The score for this film is incredible, and I think Johnny Greenwood is absolutely due his Oscar. I think he should have been nominated for Spencer. I think he should have won for Power of the Dog because I think that was the best part of that film. Johnny Greenwood's score, absolutely incredible composer. This guy's stunning. Yeah, I've gushed about One Battle After Another before. You know what the plot is about. Ex-revolutionary has to escape his past as it comes back to haunt him. And there's a lot of crazy fucked up shit going on with the Christmas Adventurers Club, a secret white supremacy organization. It's a stunning film. It looks absolutely incredible. It sounds incredible. There's so many great sequences. Editing. A lack of editing really enhances this film. There's great editing moments in the film, but a lack of editing, and especially the sort of underground railroad sequence, I think will give this film the win if it wins editing, which it should. So yeah, I'm done with this now. That was the 2026 Oscar Best Picture nominees for the year 2025, taking place in 2026, for the 98th Academy Awards. Yeah, I just want One Battle After Another to sweep. I really do. Just absolutely stunning. I think my favorite film of the year. I need to pick it up on 4K, whenever I can. I loved it, and I would be very disappointed if it doesn't win Best Picture, because if not this, it'll go to Sinners. And although I like Sinners a lot, I think One Battle After Another deserves and needs this win because of how fucking incredible this film was. I would love for Sinners to win some stuff. It's going to win Best Song. I hope it doesn't win Best Sound, because I'm upset that Warfare didn't get nominated for Best Sound, because Warfare at least deserved a Best Sound nomination, if not anything else. If Warfare was here, I would absolutely want it to win Best Sound, even over One Battle After Another and other films. But alas, it's not. Whatever. Okay, I'm done talking about this for now. I gotta edit this and get this out. Have you seen any of the films nominated for Best Picture this year? What do you think is going to win each of the awards? Tell me what you thought about these films in the comments below, and I'll be back with more enjoyable content like this. So yeah, bye.